Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups Sherman. We're in downtown Sherman at Ideation Station, and this morning we're going to have a presentation from Tommi Homuth with Tracy Realty about lease versus buy for small businesses, and particularly those that are in a market like the one we're in today. We have several sponsors: Douglas Distributing, Ideation Station, which provides the place, Bean Me Up Coffee provides our wonderful coffee, and TechWave provides the technology we use for our presentations. And we have a short video from 1 Million Cups that tells us what we're up to.
1 Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation.
It's a place where our entrepreneurs can come and connect within the community.
There's a real kind of vibe or a real energy here that's about supporting entrepreneurs.
We have two presenters each week, two entrepreneurs. They come and tell about their journey. They each have about 6 minutes to present.
You're telling people what you're up to, and you're essentially getting feedback from them.
There's about 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A.
All the questions that they asked us really got us thinking about new ways to think about our business.
It was good just to be able to get that feedback from the rest of the community.
So over the years, we've added more cities. It creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
Last question for you, what can we as a community do for you?
So what can we as a community do to help you question is what really coalesces the community around every single presenter.
When somebody applies to present to 1 Million Cups, they're instructed to watch a series of videos through the Kauffman Founder School website.
It's invaluable information for someone who's founding a startup.
I felt better prepared, I felt more confident, and I think a little more focused than I would have been otherwise. And I not watched the videos of the founders, so it was a great way to prepare.
I really like the educational component of 1 Million Cups because it does create that open forum.
You're going to hear great ideas that will help you start thinking even more about what you want to do with your business.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable.
The cool thing about 1 Million Cups is that you're amongst other people like yourself.
Just hearing someone talk about their startup, it just was magical to think, wow, there's other people out there like myself.
Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what, my idea is worth something, it's worth pursuing, it's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
So at 1 Million Cups, we're all about your big idea. If you're going to start up a business, if you're an entrepreneur and have an idea, something you're going to make or pursue as a business opportunity, a service that you want to provide, we want to hear from you and we want to help you through your journey. So one of the questions you're going to have to ask is, where's my business going to be and what kind of property do I need? Am I going to lease it or buy it? So we've asked Tommi Homuth, who's going to call Santa and help us all have the right property that we want for our operation, and talk to us today about lease versus buy for small businesses. Welcome, Tommi.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I learned at a really young age the difference between leasing and buying. And I learned that when my father lost his business real estate in a high-stake poker game. So he went from being a building owner to being a tenant. And I can tell you my mom and dad were much happier being building owners. Now you may think I have a bias towards buying a building because I've spent 20 years in banking as a commercial lender. And for the past 6 years, I've been in real estate. And as a real estate broker, I spend about 60% of my time in selling commercial buildings or leasing them. But really, I do not have a bias towards buying. I do have a bias towards making sure small business owners get the space they need in a location that's right for their business. So the number one consideration when it comes to buying or leasing is money. Do you have the money in order to buy a building outright? Do you have the money to put down that the bank's going to require 20 to 25%? Do you have good credit management experience? And most banks want 2 to 3 years in business so they can take a look at your business financials and your business tax returns. It's not impossible as a startup to get a loan to buy a building. It's just more difficult, and you have to show outside income that can show that you can make the payments and also cover your living expenses. So buying, for example, I just sold a building for $250,000. My client got a bank loan. He had to put down $62,500 as his equity payment. His payments, his mortgage payments, are $1,530 a month versus the $3,500 that he was paying in leases. So is it better for him to own a building? Definitely. He's got tax advantages. He has an asset that he can get further financing on. And when he wants to sell, hopefully in this market, there should be good appreciation. So it was the right decision. The second consideration that you have to have, can you buy a building in the right location? And if not, would it be better to lease? We've got an example of a woman that bought a strip shopping center that's way west of town. She put in her beauty shop. Okay, we've got cars whizzing by on that highway at 75 miles an hour. Oh, let's face it, 85 miles an hour. They were not stopping for her business. So it wasn't the right location, even though she got a bargain price for that real estate. She ended up closing and selling. So you have to have the right location, and maybe that is leasing. Now, when you consider a lease, a commercial lease is 15 pages long. 15 pages long, and it spells out exactly what the landlord is going to do and what your responsibilities are. And it's important to pay attention about the difference between maintenance and replacement. I know a woman that had a restaurant in a city not far from here, and in the middle of summer, the air conditioning went out. Well, it was her responsibility to replace the HVAC system. It was $9,000. She did not have it. Her restaurant closed. She did not look at the difference between replacement and maintenance. So it's important to know what you're getting into and what type of landlord you have and what kind of relationship you're going to have over the term. So is it better to lease or is it better to buy? It really depends on the situation. But I can tell you it's never a good idea to put up your real estate in a high-stakes poker game.
That's great. Thank you, Tommi. So you were talking about the difference between maintenance and replacement, and of course that depends on the contract you have with your landlord. But I think a lot of people think if they're leasing, it's kind of like being in an apartment where all you have to do is show up and run your business, and your landlord's going to do everything else for you. What's it really like out there in our market when you're leasing a building? What are you really typically responsible for?
It depends on how the lease is written and who's going to pay for what. But typically you're going to be responsible for your utilities. You may have a triple net lease, meaning that you're going to pay a portion of the owner's taxes, maintenance, and insurance, along with what you're paying in your lease. So you may never know exactly each month what your monthly rent will be because you're paying a portion of that. Or you can be assessed charges if you're in a strip shopping center for maintenance and repairs. So you really need to make it clear. I would also recommend that you talk to other tenants. I was showing property in Dallas to a restaurant, and the lease was $22,000 a month. It was right off Highway 75, great location. But 3 of the adjoining spaces were vacant. So I took the time to talk to the tenants and say, tell me about your experience with this landlord. And what's going on? Why are there so many vacancies? So you really need to find out and do the research. The landlord's gonna find out about you, do a credit check or background check, find out, if you have the money to pay, but you need to know what kind of relationship you're getting into for the long term.
Do you recommend working, if you were going to do a lease situation, working with a broker like yourself, a real estate agent, or try to just go off on your own, maybe work with a lawyer? What do you recommend?
I really recommend that you have representation because, realtors are trained in negotiation skills. Sometimes it's difficult for people that are just starting out to say, the lease is $2,000 a month. Okay, they accept that. It's like buying a car at the sticker price. Sure. You normally don't do that. So there may be some wiggle room, but you're not comfortable doing that. So having a realtor to represent you, to do the negotiations, to help you understand, we deal with leases and contracts every day. So to be able to understand what you're getting into and what your responsibilities are. So of course, as a realtor, I recommend that you have representation, but it only makes sense.
Sure. Just representation in some form.
Yes,
some
in
kind
some
of knowledge
form.
expert.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Someone that can explain it to you. Right.
What about, besides a realtor and maybe even a lawyer, do you recommend any other people that could help you with this decision to read legal paperwork? Or just trying to figure out some ideas for other people that may be watching this?
Right. You can do your own research. There's a lot of information on the web that you can take a look at and, check the 10 things that you should not do when you're leasing property. There's lots of information. Talk to other tenants, and find out, know what the utilities are going to be. Commercial electricity rates are a lot higher than residential rates. I had a tenant that found out that the electricity is going to be $500 a month. Well, her lease was $1,000. That's another $500 for electricity, water, trash. By the time it ended up, she's paying over $2,200 a month. So it's really important, to find out, do your due diligence, do it on the web, do it with talking with other people, but find out exactly what you're getting into. When you buy a home, you have a home inspection. You talk to other people, you have experts helping you. It's the same when you're leasing or buying business property.
Sounds like you need to do a budget.
Yes, doing a budget would be really good, and projections, and having a business plan, and working with the Small Business Development Center at Grayson College, where they have the expertise and the resources. And talking with experienced business owners like Ruth, who's been in business, owns her building, and can tell you the pitfalls of buying, and also she leases space to people, so she can tell you her experience as being a landlord.
What about can you explain, if I want to buy a building, is it just like a residential mortgage, or is it something completely different? What is the main differences? Some people who don't know about commercial real estate, about buying commercial real estate.
There are a number of home loans that you can get into with no money down or 1% down, and you get 30-year financing. In commercial real estate, you're going to put down 20 to 25%. Just like my client that put down $62,500 to buy a $250,000 property. So you're going to have more money going in. There's probably more scrutiny with a commercial loan, and they're going to take a look at the collateral, the repayment ability, your credit, just like they do in a home loan, your credit, but also your management experience and business history. So it's an in-depth underwriting review. So it is different in the amount, also the term of the loan, it's much shorter. You can't get a commercial property loan for 30 years. Some SBA loans will go out 25 years with a special program, but most loans are 10 to 15 years, sometimes 20.
If there was a key piece of advice, somebody that thinks, I'm going to start a business, here's my big idea. And they're doing their research all about their concept. When do they start thinking about location, and when do they start talking to people, about making that decision?
You know, it's part of the business plan. So you need to start thinking, when you do your business plan, where should your business be located? Where are your customers? What are the demographics? Where, you know, you may be able to get a bargain lease space, but there's no money that can improve a poor location. There's nothing you can do. And you may be tied into a lease. And if you are tied into a lease and it's not working, and you have to close or move, you're still obligated to pay that lease. So I would say it's part of the due diligence. When you're doing your demographics and your business plan, you need to find out what's the traffic count, where your customers are, how far your customers will travel, what kind of parking space you have. I know a business consultant that says that people are lazy and have ADD. So you need to be easy to get to, and they need to be able to find parking close to your building.
What about, you just mentioned a business consultant. Do you recommend talking to, who'd be a good business consultant?
You know, I suggest working at the Small Business Development Center at Grayson College. I spent 5 years there as a part-time senior business advisor. And what they have the tools and resources, and they also have experience. You know, they've been business owners, and they can help people, and it's free. It's at no charge.
Sure.
You know, and there are so many tools online that you can get help with a business plan and a template, that you need to have a plan. I mean, you don't go on vacation without having a plan.
You just don't get in the car and go?
No.
What?
No.
Will
No,
they be able
no.
to SBDC already? Who else could help the individual person understand the situation and help figure out if it should do lease or buy? Or you think ultimately, no, that's could be only your decision? And
You know, asking other people. You know, you have to have the ability, you have to have the money, and then you have to be in the right location. So if you have the money, but it's money, you know, it's not enough money, and it's not the right location, that's not going to help your business. So you need to take a look at what resources you have. And again, you know, in real estate, it's always location. And that's the same thing. So, you know, find out who are the people in your industry, in your business that are doing well. Where are they located? And how did they make that decision?
Well, Tommi, I want to thank you for coming and being with us
Thank
today
you.
and presenting to us. This will be on Vimeo and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, other social media. So feel free to share it and let people know what's going on. If you are in the area and thinking about starting a business, we hope you'll come and join us here and become part of this group at 1 Million Cups. And we have a co-working place that wants to present. So I'll be talking to them about when they can present, and we'll let you know when our next event is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ruth.
you.